Do you think you've got the priorities right, though? Because you are cutting taxes for some of the wealthiest people in this country because you have chosen to abolish the lifetime pensions guarantee. That will mean a huge tax break for some people who make a lot of money already. Is that fair?
The primary driver for that policy decision was to get more consultants in the NHS. The BMA, who have been lobbying us on this for a very long time, wanted to create a situation where people wouldn't elect to stop serving in their hospitals up and down this country. Obviously, the OBR also recognised that there's 15,000 more people that remain in the workforce, and they are people who are leaders in their fields. I think that is really important. Now, if we could have found other ways of doing it, we would have done, but what's really important here is that we actually say to people, we want you to carry on working. The message of this budget is about growth and productivity, a series of labour force interventions to help deal with the backlogs in the NHS, help grow the economy, get businesses investing so they don't have to pay the corporation tax rate, which, by the way, often forgotten, is still the lowest in the G7 at the higher rate.
I want to ask you about corporation tax, but just on getting people back to work, this policy is £4 billion of tax breaks. Ultimately, it's aimed at 15,000 people. How many of those 15,000 people are actually doctors in the NHS?
We have a very large number of people who the BMA say who are electing to leave the NHS and then come back in under different pay arrangements as locums and so on.
But what's the number, though? People will want to know how many of that 15,000 are actually doctors.
I don't have the precise number, but what I am saying to you is that it's £1 billion a year. It is also going to create 15,000 more people in the workforce that wouldn't have been there in key roles. People leaving, not able to do hospital operations that people have been waiting for a very long time. So I think people will welcome that measure, and they'll also welcome the fact that this is going to support the NHS.
Don't you think it's a bit worrying, though? This is a £4 billion policy. Just for context, to give nurses the pay rise they're asking for, it's £6 billion, something the government says is unaffordable. This is £4 billion, and you can't say how many of those people are actually doctors. We could be talking about 14,000. No, just let me finish. Just let me finish. We could be talking about 14,000 people working in the civil service and only 1,000 doctors. How many doctors will it apply to?
Well, I'm not going to comment on ongoing discussions that we're having with various workforces. I'm pleased that the nurses are sitting down with the Secretary of State. I think I'm hopeful that a lot of progress is being made, but I'm not going to get into what those pay settlements will or won't be.
But on that point that I just made about the doctors, this policy is 15,000 people. 14,000 of them could be very well-off civil servants, and 1,000 could be doctors. Do you know the number? Is the Treasury aware of how many are actually doctors?
We are aware that there's pressure from lots of workforces around the disincentive to carry on working from mid-50s when that pension pot got to that limit. I think that's bad for the economy, and I think it's very welcome that in the context of needing to get more people back, and particularly people with vast lifetime of experience in different professions, that's really welcome.
Yeah, I think the answer to that is no.